Welcome back to the Analyst Desk, where some interesting things are happening. Cloud9, a team who has newly brought in two brand new players, are currently finding themselves 1-0 up in a series against Loud. Probably the second best team in the world. And the way in which they did that was so incredibly impressive, Sean. The preparation for this Cloud9 squad was incredible.
Yeah, honestly, I have no idea how we got here. This is such a masterpiece that MC has put together today. He decided to go into Split. This is a map Loud picked last week, guys. They looked phenomenal on it with the Gecko, and they were embarrassed just now by Cloud9, who read everything they wanted to do, including this pistol, where that smoke in heaven you're seeing, that's actually the smoke from Cloud9. That's the hard counter to the strat we were talking about in the desk. The wingman coming out of heaven, it's counter smoked by Jake. All of a sudden, the wingman's taken out, and the whole strat falls apart.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, just on the individual basis, Cloud9 getting 14 of the first kills in the game, and of the 6 of Loud, most of them were Ospas, but even at that, I felt like he missed a lot of opportunities. He could have stacked up more early on, especially with the operator, missing crucial shots, which usually he just never does, and also just Kaozin struggling a bit in the early rounds on that map, having 6 first deaths as well.
Yeah.
So a rough beginning for Loud for sure. Going into their map pick, maybe they can turn things around, but yeah, not looking good to start.
Yeah, we kind of came into this having the discussion about like MCE maybe being one of the best coaches at development. And I mean, the prep work out of him was fantastic, and the adaptation for this team was great too. But another guy who was so incredibly good throughout this series and throughout every series he's played in, it feels, was Leaf. Another pop-off game on the Sky, Sean.
Yeah, we hardly even got a chance to talk about Leaf, but he's actually chilling in Americas with the #1 ACS coming into today with Aspas right behind him. He's going to keep his foot on the gas after that first map, because this was a banger performance from Leaf. And performing yet again outside of this chamber meta, I think he's going to be a key player throughout this entire Americas season. And alongside with Xeppaa, together, they are just so good on the rifles.
Yeah, again, it is that duo. They're just back in 2023. 2022, they were snoozing, but now they are back. Because it was at lock-in. Those two guys were really the duo that was making them dangerous at that event. And they have just not let up at all. I mean, Leaf going crazy that game.
Yeah, I mean, the initiator utility, besides just as an individual, was so good to set Xeppaa up for success, to find those opening kills throughout that game. It was a fantastic job by Cloud9, but we also have to talk about the new players on this team in Rooney and in Jake. And let's specifically start by talking a little bit about Rooney. He'll be joining us in the AIM Lab shoot-around to get ready for map #2 here. And I mean, Wyatt, the just individual performance for this guy, and also the calls continue to be stellar.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he definitely has some solid mechanics for sure. I mean, you've already seen some great moments with the Sheriff.
He shoot orb good, I would say.
He is shooting the orbs pretty well. At the beginning of that half, some of those rounds with the B execs, he was getting some crucial kills coming in as that trading man on the breach, coming in like 3rd or so. Yeah, he's having a good individual performance, but a lot of it really does come down to this is a guy playing at the highest level he's ever played at, IGLing a team that also had moved on from an IGL who the other players trust and have been with for years in Vanity. So that is a massive vacancy to have to fill, to not only play well, get the trust of these teammates. It's a massive ask, and he is stepping up.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. And that is where someone like MCE can be worth his weight in gold, right? Giving the game plan to Rooney, giving him the keys to the car for the first, 6 rounds of the game. This is something that we did a lot on 100 Thieves, is the opening part of the game, have plans for each round, each way the tree branches, right? And then the rest of the half, you guys can free flow, read the game, Rooney, and call what you think is going to work. So I'd imagine that's how that first map went. Are they going to be that prepped on Ascent, though?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because you bring up the first 6 rounds. That's where they were fantastic, really focusing on getting those ultimates in the mix, playing fantastically. But now it's a question of, can they continue this? We head now to Ascent. This is the choice of Loud. And my question for you, Wyatt, is do you think Loud is going to continue to pick into some of these weirder compositions? You've seen them experimenting with the Viper on this map, or do they just go back to the standard?
The standard on this map has always been good for them, but I can't help but feel like they might try and bring the Gecko in on this one too. I think this map has potential for Gecko, but that does...
I'm gonna stop you right there, Wyatt. I
You don't
hate
think
this
so?
map.
Really?
I hate playing Gecko on Ascent. I hate it. And when I saw Navi do it, I couldn't even believe my eyes. I just don't like the opportunities for Gecko on this map, and I feel like, in particular, going towards B, there's just not a lot of wingman potential towards B. Towards A, I find he just gets taken out a lot of the time, and on defense, I struggle to find value with him too, but a team like Loud, they cook really well with these new comps. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if I saw Gecko on.
Yeah.
When they run it, it'll probably look really good.
Yeah, well, let's see what they do pick in. You already see there that Mr. One Leaf, for the first time in Americas, is locking in a duelist. He's heading towards that Jet, Wyatt.
Yeah, I mean, we have not seen a lot of Leaf on Duelist as of late, but man, when Cloud9 were one of the teams at the top of NA, which it feels like that was a long time ago because it was literally like a year ago. But when that was the case, his Jet was so nice. I mean, he was one of the best duelists in NA, if not the best maybe at a period of time. It's hard to remember, but he was at least up there at the very top. And with the form that he's in, that might be enough to just push them over the edge.
I agree, but what we're gonna see from him is a lot different than what we're gonna see on the other side. And if you look, Loud actually went back to the old Tried But True comp here. They went back to the Killjoy Unless, away from the Viper comp that they used to run. So we're gonna get this bout between the Jets, like I mentioned, but Leaf is gonna probably be doing it on like Vandal a little bit more than Aspas, who's gonna be opping around the map and looking for those first bloods.
Yeah, I think if map number 1 was defined in a lot of ways by the preparation that was brought into this series from Cloud9, this map has to be more defined on the mid-round, on the adaptation. For me, Wyatt, this is the real test for Rooney.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about it like before the game started. Where is Cloud9 going to allot their time with the limited time that they have with this roster? Is it going to be anti-stratting, focusing on their fundamentals? What's it going to be? Well, the first map, clearly, it was put time into anti-stratting what Loud did. But now when you're just playing on a map that's been around since the dawn of time, playing with comps that everyone has played against 1,000 times in matches, you are just bringing everything back to the basics. And we're just going to see an honest game of Valorant.
Yeah, it's how well can you make a ham and cheese sandwich right now, right? They both know what they're doing, and this is where you have to heavily favor Loud, right? Can they do the simple things really well? Yes. They've thought everything through down to the T, and running a mirror comp against Cloud9, this is where Cloud9 could struggle.
Yeah, all right. Well, the test is here for Loud. Down a map in a series, not a common position for this super squad. Can they come back, take us to a third, or will it be Cloud9 finding the upset? We'll find out in map number 2 with Vansilian and Rivington.
Thank you so much to our friends at the desk. Yes, which team could do the bitter ham sandwich? I do it with hot dogs.
No, we're not going on to food. Everything he says is you don't want to hear it. That's all.
They talked about at the desk. The dawn of time in terms of Ascent being around for the longest time. The composition also being around for the longest time, pretty much in this year. So it comes down to potentially what Sean Garris was talking about before, Riv. The Jet battle between both Leaf and Aspas. One maybe focusing more on the operator, the other one on the rifler. How does the team work around these two duelists to win the second map?
Honestly, it becomes a match of the initiators or the follow-ups, right? You're almost looking at the weight on the shoulders of who's behind Aspas and Leaf to be following up on these kills, on the distraction, the chaos they're making. We're going right in, man.
The chaos starts now, and it's Chaos Nine moving in outside of B main.
Spike down B.
Smoke coming outside, just trying to pick up the spike if we can, and we're finding just right back through smokes.
Absolutely absurd gamble to go to B. Everybody is there, all 5. The only one that was coming in through mid was Rooney and already to be at tiles, but okay, Spike is pushed back and Loud now have to make up a strat with 2 30 seconds into the round.
Only one Cloudburst available for Aspas, who's under pressure long range to start things off against Zelsis. And all these footsteps from Leaf. Gonna call that out. A rotation from C9 that was attempted to go from B towards A just stays planted out towards B. Funneling everybody right now towards this stack. There's still a lot of time left here for Loud to try to fight back towards mid if they want to.
Identified by the flash, I think a slow play for Leaf here.
And the last one! One Leaf with 4 kills. And that's how you start the pistol run on Jet.
I was, thank you, Leaf. set up a player, and a player sets themselves up. Absolutely incredible stuff here. And Cloud9, what an aggressive off-the-rip strategy. When's the last time you saw 4 members of a team push that hard?
On B-main, yeah.
Usually you take the B-main space, you put an alarm bot forward, and you play off the tag that the first guy gets who's standing in the open. But a new look already. C9 is going full aggression here to start off. Now they'll allow a little bit of space for Loud as a B hit comes in, and Loud's looking for the Sheriff shots.
Good shock dart too to break the Nanoswarm in the beginning, but a recon dart to retaliate coming out from Rooney is damaging Loud. Loud's attempt to get into the site. Look how low all of their HP are in this pulse plant.
Spike planted.
Honestly, B gets pretty tricky to take, especially if you have Sheriffs on the right angles. A few are in the site, and it's going to have to be Leaf again, causing that chaos to start it off. Vancillion, the retake is on.
You talk about that Sheriff in the back. That's Aspas at Bullhouse. Underhand flash, full blinded into the site, but the cavalry is here for a bit. Aspas still holding in the back of the site of 2 versus 2. A timing to come in. It's up to Tuiz now. One-way smoke that he threw in the beginning is now encumbersome for himself. As we're sticking onto the defuse, only 1 more to go. 17 HP, a fake TP, and Zellsis has to stick onto the plant. And he gets the shot! The Red Bull clutch! As Loud answer back to tie up the game.
Getting into the site, I think, was the biggest thing there. They could get themselves in with that much firepower, even though Pistols, they knew they could give Cloud9 a very tough time to get back in. I love the thought of Loud there. Play just as aggressive, right? They came out swinging just as hard as Cloud9 did in the first round. So a little bit of their own medicine. And Tuiz with a beautiful 2v1 clutch after his smoke cleared there on the defuse. Crowd loving that one. We're definitely going to get a game out of this as we get a Thrifty already and a clutch.
Fast utility too at the beginning of this round.
3 suppressed.
As Xeppaa answers back with a 0 point to suppress 3 players. Long range with the Marshall, trying to tag some players into the smoke. And Loud sees that, hears that, and falls back.
And they still have Sadok 0 point, right? That was full team identification smoke. What are we dealing with? Can we go deactivate Zellsis on the other side? And they'll see if they can get that with the 0 point now as we come in.
Khaledzine just running in like he's T-1000 in Terminator. Just rushing through here towards his B side. 3 players are there, but the Sheriff. Rooney gets the first. Looks back for a second one. Try to let it with the second and does. But his teammates unfortunately just around him full. A late flank coming in from B main, and Les is watching at least from the other side of the smoke. A bait will out for him to come out, but he flicks away for the kill. Pop flash from the game position on to Xeppaa. As we stop the bleeding, Les take the lead.
Very nice push in. A little back and forth. Like I said, Loud going over towards A, keeping the initiator utility safe and sound so they can make sure it is a bit effective towards B. Why also does Rooney buy a gun? That's just a quick question I have. The Sheriffs are absurd that he fires, honestly. You just keep going for that. It's like a headhunter, just 6 bullets. You're good.
I was talking about that with Cooper at the beginning of the game. It's like, yeah, there's probably going to be a lot of ecos and thrifties in this game between C9 and Loud.
I don't doubt it.
Especially, again, a map that's mostly commonly played. With the most common comp so far, it just now comes down to who's going to land the better shots. There's only so many ways you could default, only so many ways you could execute into a site. And this is where great opportunities for great players can shine. As shining the sight, couple of flashes being thrown on the attack for Loud. Oh, the timing on Les to open things up and catch Zellsis with Nanoswarms in his hands. A wall bang coming in, and that's Loud all over the B site.
Loud playing to the util, but I think also knowingly playing to the less numbers that Cloud9 has. Usually that Killjoy will be pretty off on an island by themselves with the utility. So yeah, if you can have Aspas breaking through, again, the secondary scalers coming in being the really important ones there as Aspas works the switch, then Cloud9's left in that retake position right now. Much, much harder than you get on split to squeeze into these angles.
Loud's chasing.
Yep, they have to get back to the spike on this one.
Because of the Thrifty. Crossfire in. Cloud9 again with the Odin. Leaf activating here, the dash. Denied right away as he swings out, attempts for a kill. It's all up to Jake. Of course, the round's going to come in for Loud. Big check mark right now for Loud, keeping the economy low for C9. And off the Thrifty that they've gotten, doesn't allow C9 to get this operator out early into the game on a defense here for Cloud9.
So where's the Odin? Cloud9 still has it, and they keep it. Okay.
I mean,
thanks very much for this.
it.
Yeah, why not? He is owning with it, getting the last few, and it makes it so hard, especially once you can set up for post plant, and Cloud9 finds a spot to lock and load. We're just watching right now where Les is going, staying on and just out of activation range of that turret. It looks like they're going to pull it back, so they have a different call, audible, right away from what Loud was initially going to do here. Yeah. And they find Killjoy over at A, and they go just like it's B.
And C9 were just looking for a mid-hit. A gamble to try to pressure in that area on their eco. Jake with that single Phantom that he saved from that previous round. 4 players looking for the flank in A main.
Standing ahead.
Spotted by the alarm bot, left behind by Les, who now puts a turret. Nice recon dart comes out though, and a big paranoia. It gets stopped right away by an Omen smoke left, our Dark Corver towards A main. Sadak is forced out to use his null command. Les still gets the opener, so that's the rifle down.
Oh my gosh.
And after this, look at just how C9 is. Don't let anybody escape off the radius of this spike. But unfortunately, off these timings, they cannot get any kills at all. Only one.
I'll be fine.
As Loud now put 4 on their attack.
I feel like they're looking for Zellsis, and not because like Zellsis is having a hard game or anything, but again, they're playing the numbers game based on the way you would set up, again, like the Death said, these basic fundamental comps. You have KJ mostly alone, somebody kind of lurking into a position that will help, and then the rest of the team guarding Cat and A. And wow, Cloud9's like, oh, Zellsis, or Loud's like, Zellsis, that's got to be 1 or 2 people. We have 5, let's go. Playing the numbers game, that really is what it's coming down to. And it was big from Loud. You have to give credit to the Thrifty pull out there because it stopped Cloud9 in their tracks, and they were tough to even slow down on split. So yeah. Loud had to start early here.
Early timeout too being called down by Cloud9. For the last 5 rounds that we've seen, lots of aggression coming out and control on the extremities of Loud. Successful push that they've gone on the pistol, and the attempts that they tried to go for mid control, there wasn't too much coming out from Loud. So I wonder if even for Loud, after this timeout, will it change? Will it try to fight towards mid? And look at that, you just saw in that screen from Leaf. Finally, we have enough economy to bring the operator out on the defense.
I didn't see that. You're getting me excited. That could spell a little bit of mid play here, honestly. It will be at least the Cat to mid play. We did think that Loud might try to throw something different in here, but once they brought this comp to try it and true that we see on Ascent for a long time, we got a more basic game. Still, the mid play could be difficult and go up to what is the layers of taking out Alarm Bot, backing up, re-hit again. We did see that be pretty effective for both teams on their split matchup just a few minutes ago. And great detect actually coming in from the side of Loud to find out where Leaf is going to be and probably predicting he's purchased that operator.
Could move out as aggressive at the beginning, but now there's support from Rooney's. Owl drone and a ping come out. Stays very quietly behind Sabrosa stairs.
Zero point already came out from Zeppa at A. So Loud staying back, making sure to not get hit by any of that utility. Loud right now kind of on the info game. They would get a +1 or 2. They've figured out where that operator is going to be. And they still want to play to it. Adding pressure where usually teams would fear it. Now up towards Cat, Van Silly. They're trying to push through tree into sight.
Yeah, even with that paranoia. Loud now showing their hand, showing that they want to go for. And they hit into the A site, planning for A main. Early paranoia comes out though for the defense. Aspa's trying to gain space on the top and does get the kill through the smoke. So that's the operator down. Hunter's Fury available, so we have to fight quick for C9. But Aspa still fights in.
Zeppa
Zeppa then close for 2 of his own. Looking for that 3rd one, but it's still a trade-off on different parts around that site. Caudzine stuck on a 2 versus 1.
Oh, no.
Low HP Zellsis stopped.
No, they won't.
Flicks back towards Heaven. And he's running away. The timing that he has on his Hunter's Fury. And it's up to Rooney.
They both have it.
Tap onto the spike. There's that Hunter's Fury.
Shoot it back.
And he fights back. It's a Legolas battle. And now back on a tap onto the spike, the jump spot. And it's going to be Caudzine that wins it. Silva versus Silva. And it's Caudzine with the Red Bull clutch.
Oh, we are treated to a dueling Hunter's Fury battle in a 1v1 there to end it out. Caudzine, more arrows in the quiver, comes out on top, and that is a heck of a round here. They set a good pace at 5-1 now. We are seeing such a flip of the script here. It seems like that between game talk has righted a bit of the ship for the side of Loud. And this Odin. Oh my gosh, we were all feeling that. And MCE with an "Are you serious now?" That wasn't the play to make, but we all loved it. Thank you. Here's the push again. Pistol round from Cloud9, basically.
And once again, the same kills, less falls. And C9 already taking that player's advantage to reposition themselves. Loud looking to re-hit towards B, though. Shock dart to break utility towards B main. Already with the flash. Another swarm coming in from Loud. Null coming down, out on the defense for Zeppa. Canceling that utility as the trade comes off. Still an opportunity to res Zeppa.
Oh my word.
But it's that Odin once again.
Just a clothesline through the wall.
Trying to get this kill on Switch. And finally we stop that Odin to the cost of the KO falling, but we'll take that any day of the week.
2's again.
2 versus 1, fake TP into the corner. Leaf is ready. And C9 finally fight back.
Stave off a bit of the bleeding. They say thank you. This lives on. Brotherhood of the Traveling Odin now. We'll see where it goes next. Caudzine grabs one for himself. Actually purchased out, I believe, from Aspas there. If that was the drop. And Rooney gets his. So a little bit of B defense. No, Rooney brings that over towards Cat.
Wallbang for B-Link.
Yeah. Interesting. See if they can get somebody in tiles with this one. Spikes drop. Loud's going to play it very slow on this round. And just see what kind of picks are going on and make sure they can figure out if there's still an op anywhere on. Wasn't sure if the money calculated for it right away. So Loud searching. A nice 0 point to start on that wine area.
Big pressure up towards A main and the Odin. Rooney's only able to get one. Weak insight towards the A site, but thankfully it is Zellsis in there with all of that utility from Killjoy. Aldrone trying to spot Zellsis as he's trying to delay with his KJ utility. And it's denied for long enough. Look at this flank coming in here from C9. Zellsis even gets a first kill. The last 2 players looking to flank towards A main. Timing can happen, and it will. Lockdown still up, and Leaf just gets the kills. Just get detained, it doesn't matter. Spike wasn't even planted, and that's a nice flank. A nice flank, rather, and a nice hold by Zellsis and A.
So really cool thing to point out there is we obviously saw Loud get kind of picked apart throughout the round, and they didn't have Aspas to dive in there, right? It was about causing the chaos. It's almost like you see Jet dive in and kind of poke all of KJ's util, so it gets angry. The team following up knows exactly where they don't go and can move into safety. Here, we saw it was Loud slowed by all that utility this time. They had to find it with a few members. The rotation came in from Cloud9. So having Aspas in this composition is super important for every round for the rest of it to work. That Jet is needed.
Always been very fast. This time on Paranoia, Null come in and a dash already into sight. Recon dart, beautifully done. Zellsis gets the kill onto Aspas. The plant will still go down here on the attack for A main. No ults for the retake for Cloud9. Such a late rotate back, and that's the Aldrone, so that's going to help clear things out. Force C9 to push a little bit more quickly towards tree. Big
Waiting
smoke.
for flashes, yep. Everything about to come out in retaliation.
Utility still available for the delay. Fragments set out from Sadak. A peek coming in from Leaf. Shock darts once again to delay on the pulse plant on the attack. There's still so much utility left from both teams. And finally we engage. But that clock is ticking out onto that spike. And it's still going to be loud all over that scoreboard. One more to go. Stopped by Tui's.
Last player standing.
Just a clear case of the right delay util. You saw there were still flashes ready coming out of Sadak there. One short one on Jenny to deny the first play. Shock darts coming, and then a long flash again towards Tree. By that point, we were at fast beep, so the pressure was on.
Yeah.
And Loud created a really nice situation to be able to capitalize on another round for themselves there. 6-3 here. Looks like we're going to get a tech pause coming in, and it gives a little time, no real talking to happen, but time to think about what's going on and sort out these situations. Loud again finding themselves headed towards where Zellsis is. We mentioned it's just that numbers game they're playing, understanding. Mid hasn't even been touched.
Yeah.
Right? They're finding a site, choosing a site, and I think once or twice Loud has actually re-hit a different one. Other than that, it's been where they start is where they go.
Yeah. Especially on a B main, if C9 are deciding to push towards this B main themselves, it becomes a battle, reassess what happens after. But if it's going to be just an A site hit, they've been doing really good here for Loud to just add that pressure and get these first bloods, these first kills, to just allow the explosion into the site. So C9 maybe have to find a way, maybe fight back towards the A main. Of course, they can't really talk about it right now. And
Right.
it is a tech pause that we have. Looks like it's gear coming out from Jake as they're going to try to fix that up. We'll get back into the game momentarily, but
It's like this isn't shooting headshots like Rooney's. Can we fix that? how does Rooney do that? I'll take that mouse. We'll get that fixed up for him. But you're right. Seeing it how Loud is kind of able to switch up from game 1 to game 2, start to orchestrate this in their favor, and it's good to see that without the double controller comp or something they're innovating on, they can just rely back on things that they know how to play, flip that back into the composition and feel comfortable with it here.
and also when you're looking at even in the later rounds when, you know, C9 don't want to play aggressively anymore, they finally have the operator coming out from Leaf. The explosion that still comes out from Loud on these hits is just too much for Leaf to get a good positioning before. There was an opportunity a couple of rounds ago when they had that Owl drone to come out, and Leaf had a forward position, and we actually did have a spot onto Sadak when we were able to ping that for C9. But the protocols, the discipline from Loud to just stay behind, just trying to see if Cloud9 will continue to push forward after that. They've been reading this map really well here for Ascent.
A lot of the rounds are coming down to the 1v1s too, we're seeing. Obviously, we had our Hunter's Fury duel and then a few more rounds as well, considering this Odin that's coming into play. So with the way the game is flowing overall, if we kind of take a look at the money, Loud, if they lose a few more or win a few more rounds, even with going down, they could be in a pretty tough money spot. And so Cloud9 is what I'm trying to say, has been doing quite a bit of damage, but still haven't found the ground to get these rounds up. It looks like Loud is just too comfortable, too relaxed. Aspas just chilling.
I remember I'm yawning on the first map before we got it, where we were getting into Agent Select, waking up now and then out just chilling. He's in the zone. It's been working out at least for Loud. A similar storyline to what we've seen on the first map on Split when you mentioned, hey, 7 rounds on attack for C9, looking pretty good. 6 rounds on attack here for Loud so far, looks pretty good. And there's unsung heroes from players in both teams, and I think it's again on that Sova. There's been a lot of good pings coming out from both Rooney and Kawadzine that allowed so many of these chaotic battles to happen into these sites.
I mean, at this point, it's you have to rely on almost the Sova utility because the rounds, the hits are taking place within the 0-point cooldown. So yeah, you can get your KO to have flashes, but at that minute 20 mark, you're kind of relying on either a bolt to be up or the drone to still be there on retake. So I think that's also what Loud's kind of working around, knowing if they have got a bit of that signature utility out that they can work around, as Cloud9 kind of starved for information when the time comes, waiting to those pressure cooker moments where the fast beep already hits and they're trying to get into sight.
And it's been fast rounds, intensive rounds coming in back and forth from these teams, as much on the defense than on the attack. But this technical pause will definitely cool them a little bit more. And to give you a bit of an update here, chat and crowd, we basically have latency issues that we're looking to identify. So we're just going to make sure that everything's going to be okay before everybody can head back into the server and could actually get into the continuation of this matchup. So for more on Cloud9's Jake and his aggressive playstyle, we spoke to a guy that knows him pretty well. Here's Zellsis, the teammate, to talk us through what Jake's all about.
I think with Jake, his playstyle is, it comes back to like his decision making. He really likes to fight and he has the aim for it, but he's really also good at like understanding when he has an advantage. If we're down at advantage or like playing the map, he just reads the map really well. So he'll take a fight if he thinks he has to or something like that, and we all trust him to, you know, if he doesn't hit it, you know, maybe next round he'll take it again and he's gonna hit it, you know. So we put a lot of trust in him with that. I think he just likes to, I don't know if he knows he has good aim or what, but I think he just likes to fight. And that's like a good trait to kind of have as like a rookie or like a new kid, because a lot of kids are like scared to fight and that like hurts them more than anything. But he's like, he doesn't seem scared to fight. So I think that's a good trait.
Welcome back, folks, and thank you for your patience as we're still waiting to catch up here to the latency on the screen. We have a chance to still continue to talk about the storylines between now currently Loud and Cloud9. Coming from the first map, if you've missed it, coming in, Cloud9 have won that first series on split 13-7. Loud has now shown a very strong attack on the second map here of Ascent, and already we're going back into the game after all.
It's different people in the driver's seat here. It looked like Cloud9 was running Loud around, and now Loud, they're playing their own game. On the back of Aspas, diving into these, the team is just on a tether, coming in as long as they have less on the flank. Here again, we're probably gonna see it. We found a bit of the util, wait on drone, and activate Aspas. There we go.
Dashed in now into the Cloudburst. Second one to play around the dice. Utility now being broken. A full open site for a plant.
Spike planted.
C9 once again have to go. Drilled protocol for the retake. Tui's ready to slow down once again. Another one of these rounds where there's just too much utility on the attack of the post plant. 0 point, paranoia, fragments still available on the attack. A C9 is just trying to find the right timing. It's off Rooney's recon dart potential, but the flash recon coming in. A drop in towards Hell. Leap opens it up, but it's still players of Cloud9 following.
Oh! The cheeky little fragment hook shot grenade that landed onto Heaven really cut off what Leaf was trying to promote with the two members up there at Cloud9's defense. Beautifully held by Loud. Like you said, it's just a smattering of util once we get in here, especially on a take like that where nobody really went down. So you're expecting to see the rest of it come through. So there goes the Sonar Bolt. You see that little flick up there by the fragment, and it just allows Loud to separate Cloud9 beautifully on the retake. That was clean.
And that's what I'm saying. The unsung hero is not only on Kawadzine with the Odin, but every time they're entering these sites, those shock darts into the ground nullifies any type of utility that C9 has on a hold. Again, one more round where they're trying to hit towards B main. And look at Loud. Identify that. Rush into the A site.
Rinse and repeat.
ADSing though, it's still Leaf. Okay, gets this thing onto less.
My gosh.
But Plant still comes in for A main.
All right, Leaf on a Vandal. The rest of the team, Stinger's still picked up and a Sheriff there. So they actually have From the Shadows if they want to deny vision here, mess with it.
That knife actually stopped the Hunter's Fury for a bit too, so this might allow the lockdown to fully come out. But playing towards Wine, playing on a big flank, huge kill by Zeppa. Now here comes a fight towards Tree. And last one is towards A main. Stopped by Kawadzine again, and Loud are just
oh my gosh,
looking too good. Always an answer to every type of step that C9 has.
You took the words out of my mouth. An answer to everything right now. Even when they try to come in with a lockdown to make plays, Loud has already thought about it. 8-3 here. Looks like we could kind of get an even for the same first half we did on Split, just with Loud taking the lead. Hunter's Fury there is going to be up for Kawadzine and Rooney. Maybe we'll get a dueling 1v1 again. And Sadak versus Leaf, it is 12-13 up there with the KJ. Aspas still fragging out. Everybody on the team for Loud has really been participating to get this.
Oh, man.
And now they go to B, right? So we haven't seen a B to A, but it is the 0 point that makes C9 think it might be A.
That's exactly it, and Zellsis is actually in range of a null command too, so all of that utility once again fully denied.
Find the Killjoy.
Hunter's Fury into the site. Counter coming back on the defense. We still have players inside B now for C9. Leaf opens it up at the staircase. Zellsis on the top of the box has never been spotted. It's now despite being down, Leaf trying to delay. A fight towards Logs as Les stops him. Spike still looking to get picked up here, out in the open. Owl drone coming out too, and Loud doesn't even care about the spike. Rooney now. And another attempt to clutch. But there's so many bullets in the chamber here with this Odin. A little bit of a love tap. As the recon comes in, he gets pinged out. But Tuiz has trigger display to not swing out yet. Only swings out now to get the kill and put Loud at 9 versus Cloud9's 3.
Absolutely incredible first half coming out from Loud. Really working the Odin to a huge effect, but also sticking with the game plan and not letting Cloud9 disrupt it at all. Aspas goes in. Once activated after the shock darts, like you said, clear utility, it's clear ground. And the post plans for Loud here are huge.
Man, it still looks too good from how... I mean, I thought we were going to play that range coming out here from Zellsis outside of those nanoswarms, outside of the null command, but it's too good here for Loud. And now it's back to their death to see what they have to say on Loud's performances.
Cloud9 had a strong start in this series, but it would appear that Loud has woken up as they look incredible on the first half of Ascent. And Sean, it started off strong with them winning one of those eco rounds and just snowballing the momentum with their hard side executes.
Yeah, it looked like Cloud9 was going to bring something that we didn't expect, right? It came out the gate with Leaf getting the 4K, but they got eco'd. And this is so devastating for a young team like Cloud9 because they started so well. They have a game plan for their pistol, probably bonus, probably first gun. But when you get eco'd, it throws a wrench in everything. So this is the round that really turned the tides of the half, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, at this point, when you're just up by this many rounds, starting on Ascent attack, with how much this map has trended into just being a defense-sided one, things are already looking so strong for Loud.
Yeah.
And I mean, we talked about it before the game started with the head-to-head being important, Leaf being on the jet. And he has stepped up. So most of the rounds, the few that C9 won, were just straight up Leaf went crazy. I mean, the pistol, that later round where they were in the 2v2 and he was able to win that out, even with the pressure of the lockdown. And Aspas, on the other hand, he hasn't really had to do much individually yet. He hasn't needed to go crazy.
Yeah, there was a couple times where Aspas got caught by like a recon ping and spammed through a smoke. He had some kind of unfortunate rounds, but it's the structure within Loud that they fell back on those hits. He doesn't even need to have a good game, whereas Leaf is popping off, but Cloud9 doesn't have the structure to follow that up. They don't have the teamwork yet on Ascent to do that, and it's only going to get harder going into attack.
Yeah, it's going to be a really difficult one for them. Cloud9, it almost has to be a pistol, has to be the conversion off of that. But right now, this Loud squad is looking incredibly strong. Maybe, though, Cloud9 has something cooked up for the second half of Ascent. We'll find out as we hop back into things here with your casters.
That's exactly it. C9, a team also that could thrive under chaos, and that's Leaf initiating. That's also Xeppaa literally initiating as well as the KO, but you have young fraggers just like Jake, who's in the collegiate scene, has been playing a lot of duelist roles too. So if you want to see the aggression that comes out from Loud from the first half, we could definitely see the same thing from C9. And it's looking, at least for C9, all of the players, all of the pieces leaning towards his B site.
Oh, hello. There's 5 on a 0 point.
And no util, but Lee still gets the opening kill onto Aspas. So duelist versus duelist, the head-to-head. One more onto the tally of Leaf. A dash in to hit the switch, closing that door, trying to get a timing. But instead, it's just going to be Sadak waiting to knife out that door, allowing Cloud9 to get into the site, and a safe plant.
Deja vu on pistol round. C9 has the hold as well.
Frenzies for the retake. 3 players for Loud. And that's a big paranoia that could come out here with. Oh man, these shot darts are still looking pretty good here for Kawatzin. There's that paranoia to come in. That's gonna hit them like a bus. Tui still gets the kill onto Leaf before he gets hit by that paranoia. Loud answering back, but it's still a 2 versus 1. Sadak tapping onto the spike, spraying with that frenzy, running out of bullets, and that's Jake with the classic. And C9 get the pistol.
Holding steady, nicely done. Honestly, powering through the first kill. 5 peak on that initial archway to B. They're able to get a quick frag there, and I think that gives them the confidence here. Yeah, right through the wall, gets the ping as well, so the sonar bolt, everything coming into play on that one. And I don't know if you noticed, but another shock dart went through Dora as it was closing and nailed Sadak. So there were so many layers to that to chip away at the side of Loud, making a retake even harder.
Kawatzin has some good ones too for the retake.
Scanning ahead.
So the unsung heroes once again being the Sovas. And C9 trying to make sure that they don't get thriftied another time. Only 2 shares this time around, and 1 less as Tui's falls from the hands of Jake.
Maybe our first mid play here. They start to tempt it. Oh. Classic Sadak with a classic, and then Xeppaa's gonna trade that back with a quick stinger. So a 1v1 in mid, but it still leaves Loud a little hurt here with 1 more down.
Silence.
Jake still watching that flank, the aggression for Kawatzin. 2-player advantage for C9, still holding it very slowly on a default. Checking every corner. Spam, paranoia.
It's good though. So if you're Loud and you're on an eco, you want to try to instill some fear. Make C9 think you're around every corner here. Stall out the time. If you get him into that really tight moment on plant, it may just be a headshot that stops it in time. Playing back though, it is going to be less, giving the space. It looks like they'll go for what is the eco damage. And hey, if they hit Zelsa or Xeppaa, maybe they keep going with confidence.
And okay to take their time. There was still so much for C9 to move into the site. Less connecting onto Xeppaa before the dark cover blooms. Door now being closed.
Spike planted.
As both players are allowed now grouped together towards market. Shock dart coming out from Rooney. No damage done. As a turret first contact to see if anybody's pushing forward from Cloud9. All 3 players playing inside the site. But Loud still wary of a B flank. Checking every corner. Stinger close as he dashes in to clear it, so use that to clear towards B main. You can really see it from Loud. They're gonna let that spike go off. Just have C9 blow up within that spike. Recon dart to clear towards the close.
Through the gauntlet.
There's one. There's two. And there's all the kills.
Nice setup. Very nicely done. Really playing for the long game here, especially with a few rounds in their favor from the first half. They can start to toy with the economy, knowing they can't get the round, but get some weapons. It's going to start playing into what they want to do. "20 seconds just to think this through, what they're going to do. Sadak with a great game so far. Leaf, see if it can happen. We're waiting for the gun round to come out now, and do they go back to the just diving forward, following each other? Right now, it's a very similar setup to Loud at this point, where they would be going forward. Less armor, though, maybe to be had in this situation. Again, these 0 points. So good from Sadak right now.
Especially Loud playing with the Phantoms mainly into these rounds for rifles. It's actually quite good that they damaged the economy that low here for C9 in their round, which is supposed to be a bonus, but losing this one here would break their economy.
You have Rooney close to alt orb. Plant, orb grab. Could definitely be Hunter's Fury for a post plant. Cloud9 has to start layering these situations because Loud is not letting them in with every member.
A couple of flashes being thrown. 0 point also counteracted by Loud. Another smoke. And that's why we're talking about those Phantoms through smokes.
Yep.
Could do a lot of damage here, but it's still the Duelist that comes out of it wounded. Both Aspas and Leaf. As C9 are looking to sell this fake, Zealous is moving up towards the alarm button, actually now being met up by the spike. Less ADSing towards the switch, and JK opens it up on A. This might be a huge pivot with 30 seconds left. But look at Loud already rotated towards A.
You thought you were getting your first mid play of the round, but it's not. They're going back to Cat the game, and it's going to be shots coming in. Tui's does his best to stop Zeppa, but they're still going to make it in. This plant's going to be tight, Vansili.
And Aspas is still at Generator, gets that first one onto Rooney, swings across, and Zeppa answers back. 10 seconds left on the clock. Shock darts coming in. Will it land? Will it kill? It will not. Plant now comes down. Kawatzin also picked off. ADS by Lance. Who gets two? Back to a 1 versus 1. Zeppa jiggling out towards this Generator, as Les is looking to put this turret down. Now spotted, still on top of Heaven. And Zeppa will eventually get the kill. What an attempt by Les.
Cloud9 getting a very much needed round, but both teams suffering heavy losses there. Oh my, this actually is even better that Loud was able to delete so many players on that Cloud9 round win the other time. Even though they lost it, everything in that sense is coming into play in the economy. Loud doing all, or Les doing all he could.
Yeah.
And Zeppa able to lock down that one. So you see Zeppa as well. Null Command is up there. Maybe usable here in this next round to deny a little bit of retake from Loud. And they're playing into the 0 point now. They're ready to fight for it.
And it's a judge close. Aldril and Pinkson, so he's gonna try to run out on it. But it's gonna be Rooney spamming with the Sheriff. And you brought a great point here, Rip. That economy. As Leaf gets the headshot onto Aspas.
I mean, you see it all over the place. You have Spectre by Sheriffs into Judges and Bulldogs on the other side. This is going to be a tough one. It's getting scrappy, Vansili.
Back at towards the Generator, but we have a lure econ. 4. Another 4K for Leaf into the round. And it was looking to potentially be something good for Loud because, yes, C9 won that previous round, but it was still very costly. So it came in pretty low into a buy, but thankfully here, in the end, we salvaged it. You got Leaf, true.
Like Wyatt said, you got to take note. A lot of these rounds are kind of star power rounds from Leaf. And that's tough if you have to call upon that each time to be getting these. Still, obviously, the rest of the team coming through. Ultimates to be used this round, but have to give it to him so far. What a play on this to start bringing the rounds back. Let's see how the 0 point at A works again. A few rounds in a row, Cloud9 has got caught by it, seemed timid on the retake, and then played into that 0 point. Was like, okay, what are you going to peek off it? Trying to read what Loud's doing. Here, so quick towards that Cat area. The tree is already taken over.
Odin, Paranoia, nice assist as Kawatzin gets the pick onto Leaf. Start things off. They haven't identified the operator out from Aspas yet. C9 still looking at pressure to break that Killjoy utility into the A site.
Spike retrieved.
The spike just got heard being dropped down towards the tree for Loud. Got to go back into defaulting at this point now for Cloud9. Heroic play attempt by Jake, who does get the dink onto Les, who's down to 1 HP. Punisher then on the attack. As everybody's rotating towards the B site. A TP in the back. Ruby still connects onto Kawadzine. And there's Les. That 1 HP falls. A timing for Aspas, potentially to move towards the market. Even for Sadak inside the site. And that's Jake Tantra back onto Tui's. All over the place. As now the spike's down. 18 seconds left.
This is doable.
Aspas, who missed a few, is landing all of these and gets the third one onto Rooney. The Red Bull clutch to save the round for Loud.
You cannot give him a moment with an operator. Aspas comes up with an incredibly big round to shut down C9's 4 in a row here on the second half. That was imperative to have happen. And you can see the tension of the last peak. Well, is trying to make the trade, trying to make the reload as the operator racks the last bullet. But Aspas too fast, too ready, too clean, and picks that one up. Injects the O face into the crowd. What a clutch.
Get out of my way.
Back to A, back to kind of just swarming this play for a little bit with the flank here of Zellsis to make sure nobody's getting a good read on what is actually happening. But you got to give it to Aspas, already peeking out. They're going to know that mid to A is probably the big hit.
Heard that off ring across the B main, breaking the turret for Zellsis, so that's good call. Going to be the call for C9 to move now towards Generator inside the site. Immediate trade coming out, and Les is still dancing around the Generator. Still 2 players anchoring towards the back of the A site. The crossfire is perfect. That turret's still up. That turret's so busy. Can't deal with it, and finally, Zellsis fights back, but Cowzin's there for the assist.
Really, even I think looking from Les's point of view there, it looked like there wasn't enough from Cloud9 on the take, right? Les didn't have to really turn from a flash, from much, was hiding a bit back towards where we see that null command coming out right in front as they were able to shut a lot down with it. But yeah, Les in such a good spot to just have clear shots, firing range. And we see these plays coming out once again from the A defense, and that's going to be a C9 timeout here, round 19.
None yet used here by Loud. As for C9, it's okay, well, trying to hit towards these sites. You think they're able to make it in. Small differences that we see towards these hits from C9 versus Loud on this map so far is that lack of actually Sova utility to break that KJ utility that's being placed up here by Les.
Just kind of being relied on is kind of triggered and then running by it after the delay happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like they might just be kind of wanting to, obviously, but banging their head against that strategy. With the one-way coming out at A, they are forced to battle against the bit of utility or use their own to make that layer work. So maybe we'll see them head away from that for now and work a bit more of the map. Already we see in their setup, easy for us to see, that they're organized towards B with just Leaf hanging out towards A. So I think Leaf, they may start getting these lurks on, these misdirection plays that we have not really seen from either team. Both of them have been taking the sites and hitting it. Where they are is where they hit. We said that first half, and it seems to be the case here. So maybe a little misdirection to start off on this as C9 changes their gameplay.
Hero rifle for Zellsis.
Yeah.
Lockdown available. Look at the nanoswarms being placed out on the defense for Loud. Very deep towards B main, towards the sidewalk, and that's everything that we just mentioned at the beginning of the round, fully denied by the Odin of Kawadzine.
This lurk.
Too good.
The waiting arms of Aspas. Double cloud burst. Oh, actually asked for the help there from B main. And gets it from the team.
So the timeout now. It's for C9 and try to string back these rounds to see if they can bring it into overtime. The hero rifle from Zellsis didn't work out. Everybody else saved the round. All of that in terms of the economy, allowing this rifle round to come in.
Cloud9 still putting up a huge fight on this map, even though Loud, kind of flipped it to 11 as they came into this game. We're seeing nothing from them of what we did on Split. It looks much more organized. The Loud, we know. The Loud, a lot of people expected to kind of take this in a 2-0 fashion, but we look to be going to a game 3 here. Loud on game point. A lot of ultimates to be used on defense. And already, Aspas just shuts down Zellsis. That's a quick one with the Blade Storm activated too.
Another lockdown dropped early, this time by Aspas. As I've mentioned, now into this second map is the Aspas that we know and love. Not missing a single shot on the operator. Even the Allen drone denied by teammates inside the A site. Less utility used with for Cloud9 on the attack. Facing the map loss. Loud looking to fight this into a third map on Pearl. But despite being down with a minute left, C9 has not gained too much here in terms of map control.
I'm down for a Pearl
with that
match.
timing.
Roll it in. Let's go. Still cautious.
Oh!
Powers out.
Les was always ready for that one. Jake falls, and that's no smokes. But you get timing off the 0 point that was thrown before by Sadak.
Still very cautious in this play. Everybody's so far back. Like, take B, fine, have it. We have the utility to retake.
And Leaf drops less, so there's no flank coming out early into this round. And we have an early push, an aggressive push from Xeppaa at the staircase towards Market. And an opportunity here for these 3 players to come in clutch for Cloud9. 0 point answered back to initiate the retake. It spots at least Leaf into the radius of B main. Hunter's Fury then on to the defense, but there's that position from Xeppaa. Lands onto the second kill, dodging the Blade Storm to get the third. And counts in with the Odin, fragment on the ground. And Xeppaa even falls back, running that clock down, well done. But that now brings in the 1 versus 1. Rooney has to come up huge. The spray from the Odin. The tap onto the spike. And the spray still comes out, misses that fight, but at least he's done his job. The spike will go off, and C9 will be able to win at the player disadvantage.
Cloud9 with a fantastic setup there. No, I think knowing that Loud was coming in with the operator, they take a little bit of forward space. They don't want to just give that Op and Aspas room to walk in, room to keep doing things. It is still the Blade Storm, but everybody from Loud comes from the same side. No market hit comes in. So once they hear that plethora of utility coming out, they know, oh, everybody's on spawn. Everybody can turn your focus here. Confidence in the shots, confidence in each other, and Cloud9 pick up another one. That was a big round from Xeppaa. Null Command back up there. You might see Cloud back up a little bit for this ultimate ready as they get a quick check to Cat.
And the 0 point also did not allow an early Cloud burst to try to get a pick here. Or an updraft, rather. Leaf fully denied towards the link. Null Command coming out. And we do have, no, the Odin coming out to drop Rooney. Spike now drop Paranoia. Cowadzine falls to fall back. Les also spraying through the smoke to drop 1. And C9 looking to at least regain that face as much as they could. Running into the smoke. Jinky's looking for a fight. But there's only 1 left now pinged out. Leaf, you have a lot in your hands right here. And you're gonna fall down for the Odin spray of Cowadzine once again. And we are going to a third map after all.
Man, like we got that video about Zelsa saying, here, just W. I like that he's aggressive. He's aggressive, though. He is aggressive. Loud punishes that aggression just a little bit. And we find ourselves going to a game 3 with Cloud9 and Loud that have both showed us some pretty impressive maps, but also they Cloud had their number of Cloud9 on map 2, and C9 just looked to run the show on map 1. So where do we stand, Van Silly? This has been as slobbering, now what do I say?
It's been intense. It's been chaotic for both of these sides.
It's a clobbering match.
Exactly. These retakes have been all over the place. I mean, that lap was following that 1 versus 1 Hunter's Fury versus Hunter's Fury from both ends. But it definitely shows here that Loud has come out to play, that Aspas has woken up, and also that Cowadzine has really stepped up to the plate to support Aspas's entries.
And I know what I wanted to say. As sloppy as the games looked, they were still both clobberings. Honestly, looking at both teams being able to fix the mistakes and play their own game is super good to see. I think very impressive from Cloud9. So maybe a little bit of pressure on to the side of Loud here. It's going to be time for a quick break, but when we return, the desk will get us ready for map 3. Don't go anywhere.